The Green Bay Packers have been blessed with elite level quarterback play for the last 3 decades. Between Bart Starr, Brett Favre, and Aaron Rodgers, they have historically had some of the best quarterbacks in NFL history. And for these last 30 years, they've had absolute consistent quarterback play with really just two guys taking over as starting quarterbacks. Now, a new era has arrived in Green Bay where Jordan Love will be the starting quarterback moving forward. The Packers shocked the NFL community when they traded up with the Dolphins to go acquire Jordan Love with the 26th pick of the 2020 NFL Draft. Rodgers was coming off of a down season for his standards after losing the NFC Championship game once again to the 49ers. He did respond, though, by having league-winning MVP seasons in 2020 and 2021, which essentially forced the Packers to sign him to an extension as they weren't willing to let, the reigning league MVP go to free agency and lose him for nothing. Because of this resurgence, it essentially meant that Jordan Love was stuck riding the bench behind one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, even after they had spent a first-round pick and traded up for him in the 2020 draft. He really didn't have much action at all over the past 3 seasons. He only started one game against the Kansas City Chiefs back in 2021 and has only attempted 85 passes over the course of his NFL career, mostly coming in for Rodgers due to injuries. He's a massive unknown at this point, but he was an extremely talented prospect coming out of Utah State, was very raw and needed time. He has gotten a lot of time to sit back, learn an NFL offense. Aaron Rodgers has spoken very highly of his ability, to learn and be willing to grow, and he's done a very good job handling the situation of being a backup quarterback, even though, he was taken in the first round. He's immensely talented, but it is now his time in his year 4 season to go ahead and take over this historic franchise when it comes to starting quarterbacks, and he is the next in line to see if he can add to that list. Love will have very high expectations. As we mentioned, the Packers have had historically great quarterback play. Packers fans expect success from a former first-round pick that has had 3 full years to essentially sit and develop. They have high expectations for what he may be. He has looked pretty uncertain in the limited action that he has gotten. Hasn't looked great, but I do think that once the Packers are able to really build around him, I think they could have a lot more success. He's got a great offensive staff. I think LaFleur is one of the better offensive coaches in the league. They're going to kind of ease him into things. They've got good running backs in Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. You've got a pretty solid offensive line as well. Christian Watson has emerged as well as a nice wide receiver with Romeo Doubs. I think they could potentially add another wide receiver this offseason, but I think that maybe now that Aaron Rodgers' buddies aren't hit all of the wide receivers on the roster, whether that's Randall Cobb or Allen Lazard, I think hopefully they'll be able to bring in more talented receivers to build around Jordan Love. Many people forget Jordan Love is just 24 years old. He is still an extremely young player. He's younger than half of the quarterbacks coming out this year in the draft. Stetson Bennett is older than him. There's multiple other quarterbacks that are 25 years old entering the draft, including Hendon Hooker. And so I really think that Jordan Love has a ton of potential. He was very raw coming out of Utah State, but I thought he had great qualities. He had a very active arm. Thought he had some mobility as well. I just think that he needed time to develop, and he has gotten that chance. And I really think that the Packers can get the most out of him as they have a good offense with Aaron Jones and Dillon. They've got a solid offensive line and some nice weapons. They can certainly add to it, and I think that, he will need more talent around him. Aaron Rodgers did sometimes, elevate the talent on this roster, but I do think that Jordan Love is a very talented quarterback, and he can get the most out of this roster as the coaching staff is getting the most out of him. At this point in his career, I do think it was the right decision to give him a try as the quarterback of this storied franchise. I think Aaron Rodgers, as good as he has been in the past, it is time to move on. You're probably only getting, 1 or 2 more seasons out of him if he does remain in Green Bay. It's time to turn to the future and see what you have in a 24-year-old prospect that you took in the first round. You wanted to trade up for him in the first round just a few short years ago. I don't think that opinion of Jordan Love, thinking very highly of him, has waned too much having him within the organization. I think everybody on the team thinks very highly of Jordan Love, and he's going to be expected to take over this role and handle it very well. In the NFC, there are not many good quarterbacks, and there are not many good teams as well. I think Jordan Love certainly has the ability to kind of step into the starting role for the first time as a true franchise-level quarterback And I think he can be very successful. I think he can push this team back into the playoff mix. It's not a very strong NFC. And I think that once they kind of structure the offense around him specifically, I think he can get the most out of this roster and really push them back into the playoff hunt. The system and the offense they had with Rodgers and a lot of the players that he wanted on the team, including Lazard and Cobb and some of his specific buddies, I think that they were kind of holding this team back. I really don't like Lazard as a player. Randall Cobb was pretty old. I think if you're able to attack that wide receiver position, now that Jordan Love is in there, you got to get a little bit more aggressive at that wide receiver position, as a lot of Packers fans have wanted them to do for a very long time. But I think that Rodgers specifically wanted some of the players that he trusted, because that was such an important thing to him, was that trust that he developed over a long period of time. That's why he sometimes struggled to have good chemistry with some of the young wide receivers on the team. I don't expect that to necessarily be the case with Jordan Love. I think he is just going to throw it to whoever the most talented player is, or whoever is open on a specific play. There's absolutely going to be some learning curve with Jordan Love. He is essentially going to be a rookie quarterback in his 4th year. But I really like the potential of what this Packers team can be with Love at the helm. How do you think he is going to do as the next starting quarterback of one of the most storied franchises in the NFL? Let me know down below. If you like NFL content just like this, hit that subscribe button down below. Helps push this video out to other NFL and NFL draft fans just like you. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye-bye.